United States President Donald Trump has confirmed that he will declare national emergency to free up funds for a wall on the southern border with Mexico as he capitulated into signing a bipartisan security bill to avert another government shutdown. But that bill provides only $1.37 billion for barriers of any sort, well below the $5.7 billion the White House has insisted on for the wall. President Trump's decision to declare a national emergency is seen as an attempt now to circumvent a Congress that has refused to budge on the extent of the funding requested and is likely to be challenged in the courts.
So, in the absence of a deal on the levels of border wall funding the president sought from Congress, is now attempting to go around the lever of government that is responsible for the appropriation of funding for government projects. Signing the bipartisan legislation that also funds the government and averts a second damaging shutdown was a political defeat this president was not ready to accept.
So I'm going to be signing a national emergency, and it's been signed many times before. It's been signed by other presidents. From 1977 or so, it gave the presidents the power. There's rarely been a problem. They sign it. Nobody cares. I guess they weren't very exciting. But nobody cares. They sign it for far less important things in some cases, in many cases. We're talking about an invasion of our country with drugs, with human traffickers, with all types of criminals and gangs.
The federal government was partially shut down for a record-breaking 35 days due to a political stalemate over wall funding, but reopened on January 25th by providing a 3-week window for a bipartisan committee of legislators to reach consensus on border security as part of a broader government funding bill. But that compromise did not satisfy this president.
The order is signed, and I'll sign the final papers as soon as I get into the Oval Office, and we will have a national emergency, and we will then be sued, and they will sue us in the Ninth Circuit, even though it shouldn't be there, and we will possibly get a bad ruling, and then we'll get another bad ruling, and then we'll end up in the Supreme Court, and hopefully we'll get a fair shake, and we'll win in the Supreme Court, just like the ban. They sued us in the Ninth Circuit, and we lost, and then we lost in the appellate division, and then we went to the Supreme Court, and we won.
A joint statement from Democratic Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer called the president's actions a gross abuse of power and a demonstration of President Trump's naked contempt for the rule of law. They rejected the notion that there was an emergency at the border, promising that Congress would defend its constitutional authority.
I'm saying that we are reviewing our options, that we have to see what the president will say. This, I don't believe that there's any good faith negotiations to have with the Republicans in Congress if they're going to support the president doing an end run about what the will of the people, the Congress of the United States, has put forth. So we will review our options, and I'm not prepared to give any preference to any one of them right now.
Both houses of Congress could undercut the president's emergency declaration with a joint bill that receives over 2/3 support, a threshold required to override a presidential veto. So, after the government shutdown, the next political frontier for this divided government appears now to be the fight over whether the president has the legal authority to redirect funds already appropriated by Congress for specific projects. Democrats and many Republican lawmakers say he does not, and this is now a matter likely to be decided by the courts, specifically the nation's highest, which currently comprises a 5-4 Conservative majority. Sherwin Briceby's SABC News, New York.